The sun was bright that afternoon, pouring gold over the quiet suburban street, when a split second of cruelty shattered the calm. A biker in a black leather jacket sped toward a small park, laughing with his friends as he approached a little girl walking her German shepherd. Without warning, he stretched out his leg and kicked the dog's side as he passed, thinking it would be a harmless joke. But the dog didn't yelp, he pivoted sharply, eyes locked, posture firm. The biker's grin vanished. He had no idea he had just provoked a fully trained police canine. If you believe in kindness, compassion, and giving people second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our W Insights. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. Ava Marlin, the little girl holding the leash, froze in terror. She was only 10, small for her age, but brave in ways she didn't even understand. Beside her stood Titan, her late father's German shepherd, a dog who had served in the police force for 5 intense years. Titan had been her father's partner, loyal, protective, and trained to handle far more dangerous situations than a reckless biker. But since her father, Officer Rowan Marlin, passed away in the line of duty 8 months earlier, Titan hadn't been the same. The once energetic, disciplined canine had become withdrawn, sensitive to loud noises, and overly alert. He would flinch at sudden movements and often refuse to leave the house. The world without Rowan seemed confusing to him, and Ava, though young, understood that Titan was grieving just as she was. That day was special because it was the first time Titan had agreed to go for a walk since the funeral. The biker, who went by the name Blake Rickson, skidded to a stop 30 feet ahead, startled by Titan's rigid stance. His friends slowed their bikes, watching with uneasy laughter that faded when they sensed something was wrong. Titan's ears were forward, body lowered, eyes sharp, the stance of a professionally trained apprehension dog. Ava's heart hammered as Titan growled, low and deep, a sound she had rarely heard from him. She tightened her grip on the leash, whispering for him to stay calm, fighting her fear that he might attack. Titan wasn't aggressive by nature, but training ran deep, and pain triggered reactions he couldn't always control. Blake raised his hands nervously. "Hey, it was just a joke, kid," he called out, trying to sound casual but failing miserably. He clearly hadn't expected the dog to react like this. A couple nearby noticed the tension and hurried over to stand behind Ava, worried for her safety. The park, moments ago filled with bird songs and children's laughter, felt suddenly thick with suspense. Ava swallowed hard, remembering something her father once told her: Titan listens best to calm hearts, not loud voices. She knelt beside him, gently touching his fur where the kick had landed. Titan's muscles twitched beneath her fingers, but as she whispered softly, his trembling slowed. Blake watched the scene with growing guilt. What he thought was a harmless prank had clearly hurt the dog and scared the girl. He removed his helmet, revealing messy brown hair and a face that suddenly looked far younger and far more uncertain than his bravado suggested. "I didn't mean to hurt him," he muttered as he walked closer, but Titan's sudden bark made him jump back in fear. Ava stood, shielding Titan with her small frame. "Don't come closer," she said quietly but firmly, surprising everyone with her courage. Titan stepped beside her, protective but calmer now, sensing her steadiness. Something in Blake's expression shifted. The realization hit him hard: he had terrified a grieving child and injured the last living connection she had to her father. A police cruiser turned the corner then, responding not to this incident but to a call nearby. Still, the sight of the vehicle made Blake panic. His friends whispered that they should leave, but Blake shook his head. For once, he didn't want to run. Officer Hannah Cortez stepped out, immediately noticing the strange tension. She approached, hand resting near her holster but not gripping it, reading everyone's faces. Ava explained what had happened, her voice quiet but trembling. Officer Cortez's eyes hardened as she turned toward Blake. Before she could say anything, Blake spoke. "I'm sorry," he said, voice cracking. "I thought it would be funny. I didn't know. I didn't know he was trained. Or that he was hers." Officer Cortez studied him, then looked at Titan. She recognized the dog instantly. He had served with Rowan. Emotion flickered across her face, but she maintained her professional calm. "Pranks that hurt others aren't jokes," she said. "But what happens next depends on them." She nodded toward Ava and Titan. Ava glanced down at Titan, who was now leaning gently against her leg, breathing slower. She remembered how her father always believed in giving people a chance to change, even when they didn't deserve it. So she took a deep breath. "You don't have to get in trouble," she said softly. "But you have to promise never to hurt animals again." Blake's voice shook. "I promise. Seriously. I'll make it right if you let me." And then something unexpected happened. Titan, sensing the tension fading, stepped forward and sniffed Blake's hand, not aggressively, just cautiously. It was a gesture of acceptance, or at least tolerance. Blake let out a shaky breath. "Thank you," he whispered, mostly to Titan. Ava smiled faintly. For the first time in months, it felt like Titan had taken a step toward healing, and maybe she had too. Officer Cortez softened. "It seems we've handled this. Just remember, respect keeps everyone safe." Blake nodded gratefully before walking back to his bike, changed in ways his friends couldn't understand. Titan watched him go, ears relaxed, tail settling gently against Ava's leg. Ava knelt and hugged Titan tightly. She whispered, "Dad would be proud of you." Titan rested his head on her shoulder, closing his eyes as if he understood. The sun warmed them both as the breeze rustled the leaves overhead. The moment felt peaceful, something they hadn't felt in a long time. And somehow, Ava knew this was the beginning of Titan finding himself again. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to our W Insights for more emotional real-life stories. Your engagement helps keep these powerful messages alive. Special request: comment below, what would you have done if you were in Ava's place? And with that, Titan and Ava continued their walk, side by side beneath the bright afternoon sky, two souls healing together, one gentle step at a time.